Hi. So I've just come back from New York, and honestly, it was a very liberating experience. Sure, it kind of was a filthy town with a lot of problems. The one that gets me the most is the lack of air conditioning compared to the size of the population. I think Tokyo wins that one hands down. And a lot of other things too. Subway system. But it's both a place where people live in and a place where history happened, and that really spoke to me. So inspired by that, I'm going to start making more videos about things that are current or maybe matter more than what I've been talking about. I'm thinking about calling it Absolutely Something, but maybe not. I'm still inventing formats, okay? Anyway, this one concerns something I saw before I even arrived in the Big Apple, something spurred from, of all things, in-flight TV. CNN, was what I was watching, was running a piece in what they were calling online sextortion, which is a buzzword meaning the proposition of explicit images from unsuspecting people, and then the subsequent threatening of their release unless demands are met. First of all, that's a stupid word. Extortion is extortion, and we don't need to make a cute word to make it into some kind of playable soundbite. 2 or 3 extra syllables never killed a broadcast. But hey, it's not like they don't do that all the time or anything. I think it's also very demeaning to the victims who have had their naked pictures posted online because they couldn't or didn't pay the extortionist. Or worse, they paid for it with the pictures and their dignity. Unsurprisingly, embarrassingly, and for the extortionist, even more illegally, the victims seem to be largely underaged girls. And the victims also tend not to confide in their parents or tell their friends, which means clearly we as a society are untrusting of one another. Naturally, you do something stupid and your parents will be upset, but they also should love you, and if they don't, maybe that's the heart of the problem. I used to be a teacher, and most of the girls I taught seemed to be pretty smart. But then again, people are two-faced by nature. I should hope that they would know better, but hearing that sometimes the victims actually know they're extortionist, it's hard to know who you can trust. So my simple advice is this. The only one you can be sure of the behavior of is you. You are the one most in control of yourself, especially in this kind of situation. You know yourself better than you know others, at least I would hope so. If you don't, you really should sort that out before disseminating nude selfies or going on Omegle without knowing how to act if you see a dick, of either the metaphorical or literal variety. And speaking of Omegle, CNN also mentioned a girl who was coerced into flashing the guy on the other end of the unnamed online chat service because he was threatening to choke a cat to death. Come again? Show tits or I kill the cat? 1, that's a user you want to keep on the line to try and report somehow. I don't know if Omegle has that option outright, but I know you can get the IP address of the guy. However you do it, that guy needs help, or maybe needs to be put away for animal abuse. Or worse, since he's abusing cats to see little girl boobies, he needs to be put away. 2, go ahead. Kill the cat. You kill the cat, you lose your leverage, buddy, unless you happen to have a cord of cats off camera and you're going to keep killing them until the girl decides to flash her tits at you. Where exactly did you get all of these cats to choke? You see how ridiculous this sounds? Girls, take it from me. If a guy is threatening to kill a cat if you don't show him your tits, tell him to do it. Tell him to do it and watch him squirm. You have the power. He only wins if you let your sympathy take control of you. If you're still feeling for the cat, remember this guy is probably going to go to hell for threatening the innocent, so do it for Jesus. I felt like I had to tell that, to impart it. So that means it had to be taught, and that's probably the crux of a lot of our problems. What we need to do is educate ourselves, which, because I'm the one blabbing away about it on the internet, it might as well be me stating what I thought was the obvious. Listen to me if you like. If not, here's a card to a much better video I'm sure you'd prefer over this one. Go ahead, click it. Okay, if you're still here, if you're sharing naked pictures online, you need to know the consequences. This is the exact reason why you don't do it. Once it's up, and what goes up has a hard time coming down, like Uncle Albert on a giggle binge. But maybe I'm old, and I still remember what it was like on B back when it was still B. Shit. Forgot you're not supposed to talk about B. Anyway, there are some extreme consequences, and some people do it anyway because they trust or they think they can manage. So if you think that you can handle it, be ready for what comes after. If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Yeah, your parents are probably going to be pissed if you get caught. When are they ever not? You weren't going to tell them in the first place. That's kind of why you'd be getting caught at it. So you know what you were doing was slightly on the wrong side of things. Part of that whole consequences thing is owning up and taking the initial punishment. And for a victim who was forced to do it, it's still going to possibly upset them, so be ready. Know that you still ended up doing something that they won't like. It's not blaming you for your moment of vulnerability over the cat. It's a powder keg, and explosions don't usually last. However, I know that explosions do hurt. I know how it is. I'm a pretty emotional person, and I know how hard it can be to take it, but having the experience that I do, just know that life goes on. No matter how long you'll get grounded for or how hard they yell at you, at the very least, you're going to outlive them. Life goes on, young one. The Rolling Stones, I'm looking at you, Keith, are still touring. And Roman Polanski, who did something a little bit worse than what we're talking about, is still in exile and still very much alive. Life goes on. Obla di, obla da. Seriously, though, your parents are supposed to be there to support you. If it goes too far out from support, positively or negatively, maybe they're dealing with something else. I mean, they're human too, but they come around in time. And if they don't come around, maybe that's not even your fault. But if they come back and forgive you and bring you back to their bosom after the blow-up, consider yourself prodigally loved. That is what it's really about. So again, the pain is temporary, even if the effects last a while. All joking aside, you very probably will outlive your sorrows. You'll just end up thinking about them more. Again, this would largely be the case for those who purposefully post nudes, but maybe you don't even need to in the first place. Consider long and hard why you would put up naked pictures of yourself. And if you are being extorted, that's actually putting the ball in your court. Remember, if you have a ball and the other player wants something worse out of you, pop it. You pop that ball and you make him watch as the air flies out of it. Exploitation only works when someone can get the upper hand on you. In a situation where you're being coerced online to flash your titties, those titties are attached to your body. You hold the cards when the cards are literally a part of you, and there's nothing the idiot on the other end can really do to force your hand. But then again, you're young and you're probably not going to listen to me. Just try not to do anything stupid, okay? Oi. So, that's me being preachy. I have a new friend now. Her name is Delisle. You get it? Delisle? She's great. No? And I'm sorry that I had to choke her because... But we discussed it and she's fine with it now. Ha! Also, happy 4th of July!